The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. At that time, the Pharisees came up and in order to test Jesus asked him, "Is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife?" He answered them, "What did Moses command you?" They said, "Moses allowed a man to write a certificate of divorce and to put her away." But Jesus said to them, "For your hardness of heart, he wrote you this commandment. But from the beginning of creation, God made them male and female. For this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let no man put asunder." And back in the house, the disciples asked him again about this matter. And he said to them, "Whoever divorces his wife and marries another commits adultery against her. And if she divorces her husband and marries another, she commits adultery." And they were bringing children to him that he might touch them. And the disciples rebuked them. But when Jesus saw it, he was indignant and said to them, "Let the children come to me. Do not stop them, for to such belongs the kingdom of God. Truly I say to you, whoever does not receive the kingdom of God like a child shall not enter it." And he took them in his arms and blessed them, laying his hands upon them. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise be to the Lord Jesus Christ.
Lead questions for today. Question number 1. What is the message of today's second reading? What is the message of today's second reading? Hebrews chapter 2, verse 9 to 11. Who can say it in his or her own words? The message of the second reading. 2. Now listen. For us Christians, if you count yourself among us, for us Christians, marriage is a vocation. And what does a vocation mean? A divine calling. Now, what are the values and principles and habits that would make for a successful living out of this vocation? I am a priest. The priesthood is a vocation, right? Now, there are values and there are habits and there are principles for living my priesthood out properly, right? Good. We also see marriage as a vocation. Anything that God calls somebody into is a vocation. We see medicine as a vocation. We see law as a vocation to do God's will. So, what are the values and principles and habits that would make a Christian live out successfully this vocation? 3. At difficult moments in the life of a Christian husband and wife, when love and affection seem to fail, and sometimes they do fail, what is it when love, this I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, it can fail. And it often fails. That's why I tell people that when they come here and I tell them, "Now why you all these things?" Because it can fail. When they do fail, what is it that can sustain the marital bond? As they say, when the honeymoon is over, Aha. Reality dawns. Now, what is it when reality dawns? It means that the honeymoon are fake. When they say when honeymoon is over, reality dawns, it means that the honeymoon is some kind of illusion. Yes. When that illusion, when that self-deception, when that shadow, when it goes clears, when the cloud clears and we begin to see the sky clearly, what is it that can sustain the marital bond? 4, Jesus warns, as we head into this gospel, what God has joined together, no man may put asunder. That's a very serious warning, right? From Jesus. Yet, the rate of divorce keeps rising. What are some of the negative effects of broken marriages on the children and on the society at large? Ibe.
Good morning, Father.
Good morning.
I want to answer question number 2.
Question number 2, yes.
The values are that the wife should respect the husband and that they should be honest to each other.
They should be honest to each other.
They should have patience. And the habit, the woman should be submissive to the husband.
Boy. This is a Nigerian man. Yes. What else?
And the husband should provide for the family.
Aha. Actually, this is a real Nigerian man, because what I hear in Nigeria is that the man should provide for the wife. After providing for the wife, he can deal with the wife like a servant. And this young boy has already appropriated this thing. You will need some adjustment as you grow up. Yes, from behind. Madam, behind.
Glory to Jesus.
Honor to me.
Father, I just have something to contribute, and that is being open. I think couples should be open to one another.
Openness.
Yes. They should discuss things together. There's something I've found out that it's common to most people in Nigeria. When you see married people, most husbands do not know what their wives earn, and most wives do not know what their husbands earn.
What they send?
What they earn, salary.
Oh, what they earn.
Yes.
That one are top secret in Nigeria.
Father, you see, money is one of the things that brings problem at home.
Money?
I believe where a man and a woman sit together, know that what we get at the end of the day is maybe 10,000 naira. The woman will know how to spend, know how to plan better, and know what the husband can afford, or what the family can afford, and what they cannot afford. Most of the time, this is what brings problems. There are situations I've asked, I see people who are wedding, or I see couples having problems, and say, why don't you sit together and plan as a family? Say, no. Why should he know what I am earning? That way I can't send money to my parents. Oh, no. When she knows what I'm earning, every time she's requesting for this and that. But I think if
you are asking for too much now, because among my brothers here and my sisters here, there are many women here who say it is the man's role to provide for the family. My whatever I earn is for me. Isn't it? That is popular in Nigeria. It is the man's role to provide for the family. If he goat, they reach he goat before he smell. Una here? My people say he dead to who the door dagon. He goat, they reach he goat before he smell. If he no fit marry, why they come marry me? If he married, then he must provide for the family. This one I am earning is for me. I have heard that 1,000 times. And what you are saying now is that they must
work together.
They must work together.
I know a young man. He should be in his maybe late 30s now. He's in his late 30s or mid 30s. His wife is not working. And what he does, at the end of the month, he hands his money over to the wife.
As a better manager.
She manages the family. And there's no problem.
That's the one you should clap for. Yes. The person who began to clap is a woman, isn't it?
I'd like to attempt question 1 and 3 because in a way they're kind of similar.
As you said, yes.
Question 1 is talking about sacrifice. A father sacrificing for his family indirectly because Jesus suffered and went through, and God suffered as well because he sacrificed his only son. But it's more of a sacrifice. That's why I say the message of today's second reason.
Yes.
And number 3, it's a bit more about sacrifice as well, but it's more about sacrifice between husband and wife. Now, the thing is, I can take this in 2 stages. Number 1 is, in the Christian marriage, you have to see God in your partner as well as in yourself. That way you feel, you know that the love of God dwells in that person.
You are saying me. Look at your partner sitting by you. How can you be? You say you have to say about you and your partner. Yes.
Yes. Now, for me, I think the major 2 ingredients when love and affection seems to fail is the fear and love of God.
Fear of God.
Yes, the fear of God and love of God. When you have the fear of God in you, and you know that God exists in the other person.
Charles, turn it to you, not me.
Okay, when I have the fear of God in me, and I know that God exists as well in my wife, and I know that I love God, because I know that the presence of God dwells in her as well as in me, you said that love sustains.
So the common denominator is the God that is in you and in your wife. Okay. And that if you put that common denominator in focus, it transcends the
physical
problems.
love and transcends physical affection. Because you're looking beyond. Because you're not just marrying the body. I'm not just marrying the body. I'm not marrying the soul. I'm marrying the God in her as well. I'm loving the God in her as well. Yes.
Is that so?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, give Charles a round of applause. Does the wife share the same opinion? Do you share the same opinion? We shall ask you by the grace of God after 5 years, and we pray that you give us the same kind of answer. Yes, Helen.
Father, question number 4. Now, society depends on families. When a marriage breaks down, the children also are broken. They lack confidence in themselves, and they take to other things. They are either withdrawn or they become delinquent. They seek meaning elsewhere. And when that happens, it means that society is broken. Because when a family is together, that unity teaches children to respect one another, that they are part of the whole. But when a marriage is broken, it's either the children lose confidence in life itself, and they start looking for other things that will make meaning to them, and that translates into society. Children who go about stealing, taking drugs, and so on, they lack meaning in the family, so they are seeking meaning elsewhere.
Thank you very much.
It breaks society at large.
Thank you very much. Okay. Marriage is a divine institution. There are 2 accounts of the creation of man and woman we read in Genesis. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 to 28, and Genesis chapter 2. I don't know if many of you have, those of you who read the scriptures, whether you have taken note before, that there are 2 accounts, 2 different records of how God created man and woman. One is in Genesis chapter 1, the other is in Genesis chapter 2. There are slight differences. So spot the difference when you read it. Spot the difference. Genesis 1, 26 to 28 and Genesis 2, 18 to 24. The second account is what we read today as our first reading. From the 2 readings we learn. Can we read the next lines? Human beings were created male and female and in God's image. Again, human beings were created male and female and in God's image. They are therefore equal in dignity. It is not for nothing that Jesus quoted that in the context of saying that this right that they are talking about of the man giving the wife certificate of divorce. Jesus answered that when God made them, he made them in his own image, male and female. And what is the implication of that answer? He's saying that they are created equal. So this prerogative that a man has in Judaism, Jesus is saying is null and void. It is because of your hardness of heart that Moses allowed you to do that. That is not the ideal situation which I have come to restore. I hope you know that's what Jesus came to do. Jesus came to restore the ideal situation. But till today, people are still quoting when things were very bad. Do you understand? It's like in this country, in civilized places, nobody rides a motorcycle without helmet, right? Now, many states in this country introduced helmet, and Okada riders went on demonstration. Because the politicians want to be popular, they removed the law. Now, is that the ideal situation for people to be riding motorcycle without helmet? What made the law to be removed? Because of the hardness of heart of Okada riders in Nigeria. Do you understand? So if you now come, if a new system comes and we are going to have a new country with greater discipline, with progress, and the new leader says, no, every Okada rider must wear helmet. You say, no, under so governor, under so local government chairman. No, we were not wearing helmet. And Jesus says, that was the dark ages. I have come with light. I am the light of the world. I have come for safety and civilization. Anybody riding Okada in my era must wear helmet. Are you getting the point? Yes. Good. 2, can you read that? The man was incomplete, unfulfilled until the woman was created. The coming together of man and woman in marriage, therefore, meets the human need for friendship, companionship, closeness, and warmth. Number 3, the man and woman complement each other, and they develop a unity that finds expression when the two become one, literally in the conjugal act, but also in the rounding out of each other's personality. They complete each other. They complement each other in the conjugal act and in bringing out what is missing from the other. For example, as was said before during the discussion, that there are many couples where the wife is a better manager of the resources. And I know many where the husband hands over his money for the wife to manage. Because he says, if I hold it, I will misuse the scarce resources. You are a better manager. And many places where the woman is better manager and the husband refuses and says, I am the man, I am the one to dictate, what often happens is that the finances are ruined. Because that complementarity that God created marriage to bring about, somebody is refusing to be complemented. Do you understand? Somebody is refusing to be complemented. Next, they are coming together in the lasting union of marriage also takes care of the need for procreation and education of offspring. And as we said in our question 4, if they scatter, if they go their separate ways, something happens with the offspring, right? Next, marriage is the proper arena in which to fulfill God's command to be fruitful and to multiply. Marriage is the proper arena. Human beings have not been able to devise another system of increasing and multiplying, of raising children. Marriage is the proper arena. Even though marriage is under intense attack today, and as the Pope Francis, said to them in the US, and as every serious leader has been saying, if you destroy this institution of marriage, you destroy humanity. You are not only destroying the individual children, you are destroying humanity as a whole. Next, marriage is a vocation, not just a legal relationship, meaning that the lawyers and the judges are not enough to sort out the issue of marriage. They only sort out one aspect of marriage, isn't it? It is much more than a legal relationship. Much more. As the couple become become cooperators with God, the creator in the work of life generation. So it's more than just a legal relationship. They actually become cooperators with God. They become co-creators. Read together, therefore, meaning, what do I mean by read together? Eh? Read together what? No. Genesis chapter 1 and 2. Read together, therefore, 5 key notions emerge from the 2 passages of Genesis regarding the institution of marriage. What are they? 1, divine origin. Marriage is from God. The source of marriage is God. The one who built the institution is God. 2, unity. The 2 become 1. It is real. In the conjugal love, there is physiological unity, there is psychic unity, there is spiritual unity. That is why when people have lived together for many years, they begin to look like one another. Don't we notice that? When they have lived together for many years, they begin to look like one another. I have been with a couple once, and they were discussing. I was speaking with the husband, and at every point, the other person was confirming. And they were just complimenting each other in the discussion. I'm dealing with the 2 that have become 1. And you know of couples that stay together for many years, and today, one person died. The next day. How many of you saw in the on Facebook or internet some recently a couple who have lived for many years who died together? The head of one on the laps of the other, and they both died. The 2 had become 1. Okay. Divine origin, unity, equality, complementarity, and permanence. It is permanent. It shall be permanent. It shall be permanent. What the Lord has done for us, it shall be permanent. Where is husband and wife? Where face each other and say, tell yourself, it shall be permanent. You are not? It shall be permanent. At God's time. Okay. Divorce was man's prerogative only in Judaism. I mean, the system was something else. I wouldn't have wished to be a woman during that time in Israel. I wouldn't have wished to be a man. Even Ikechuku, the small Ikechuku, will not have wished to be a woman. I will not have. Jewish law provided for a man to divorce his wife, and on the basis of Deuteronomy chapter 24, verse 1 to 4. I hope you know that a man in Judaism could divorce his wife just because the food that she served was cold. That the food get too much pepper. That how can he give me food that has not enough salt? That was enough reason to divorce. There were, of course, two schools of thought. There were the schools of thought where there was a bit more lax and a little stricter. But generally, it was very easy. And all the man need to do, as we still have it in Islam today, is to pronounce, I divorce you. And they made progress. Actually, it was progress when they started when Moses told them to issue a certificate of divorce. Because if I just say, I divorce you, go away, no other man would marry the woman. So it was an act of kindness, progress, when they got to a stage that they now had a law that, okay, if you say you don't want again, at least give a certificate of divorce so that the woman can marry another person. The man had all the prerogative, the woman had nothing. So if the man say, I divorce you, finish, you go, but nobody will touch you because they say you were married before. You say, where's your certificate? I no get. Say, I no go touch. The woman could not divorce her husband. She had no such power. Women had little or no legal rights in marriage. They could be married and divorced at the whims and caprices of men, as if they were ordinary property. We still have, unfortunately, elements of this in our culture. We still have elements of this. When the Pharisees confronted Jesus with the question of divorce, he asked what Moses commanded them. Moses allowed us to write a certificate of dismissal or a writ of dismissal in other translations and to divorce her. Jesus went on to say, let us read the lines again. It is because of your hardness of heart that Moses wrote this commandment for you. But from the beginning, God made them male and female. So what God has joined together, let no man put asunder. Jesus disagreed with the Pharisees that Moses allowed. I hope you know that was the point of contention. They said, look, Moses allowed us. Who are you that you are Moses allowed us. He said Moses only did what? Conceded. Is there a difference? Yes. When you can't fight again, what do? You concede. Moses only conceded because of your hardness of heart. He actually did not allow. The various states that had tried to introduce helmet for cattle riders, the leaders who wanted to introduce it didn't allow. What they did was concede. Under pressure, they succumbed because they want to be voted in the next election. Jesus then went on to declare that divorce was an aberration. It was a concession to human sinfulness. God forbid that you and I should, after Jesus had come, should continue to seek a concession to our sinfulness. It is not what God intended. In the beginning, God intended that marriage should be indissoluble. Of course, if the two have become one, to say you divorce is just mouth, because actually the two are one. The relation between husband and wife is such that the two become one flesh. Therefore, let no one separate what God has joined or united. Basing his teaching on the two passages of Genesis, Jesus then teaches that women and men are equal before God. Women are persons, not things, not property. Help me tell all Nigerian men that men could acquire and dispose of at their whims. Women are not things. They are not property. They are persons. Women are not part of man's patrimony, not part of his baggage. They are persons. And once you say they are persons, it comes with fundamental rights. Marriage is the union of equal beings. They say there is no partnership with unequal hands. Can we say that together? You can't say you're getting into partnership with hands that are not equal. Lawyers, can there be partnership with unequal hands? No. If it is partnership, it is with equal. So when you see those pictures of partnership, two hands holding, they are usually equal. You can't have partnership with unequal hands. It won't work. And many men have attempted to have partnership with unequal hands and it constantly failed. It will not work. Those homes never know peace. I have met young couples, and constantly the reason for the problem is that they are claiming rights. Claiming rights. I am the man, or I am the woman, I am this. Okay, the woman also claims some rights. I am the woman, I was married, the man is supposed to provide for the house. My salary is for me, it's my right. Go and claim right. You lose your home as you claim right. You will claim right, but you will lose your marriage. One of my friends, Dr. Julius Bala, came and spoke to a premarital course sometime in the past, and he emphasized on the fact that in marriage, please don't be claiming rights. It's a relationship of love. It's not a relationship of rights. If you insist on claiming rights, you will lose. Every marriage that has succeeded has been marriage of people who know they have rights, but who have never insisted on claiming those rights. Equally created by God in his image, equally oriented towards God. The union of husband and wife is a partnership that is based on love. Such partnership is only possible among equals. Equality is the basis of complementarity. You can't be talking of complementarity if not based on equality. Because we are equal, you need some things and I need some things. You give me some and I give you some. That complementarity. Support me with this, I support you with this. Those who go into marriage must recognize that they are all brothers and sisters before the Lord. There is no room in Christian marriage for male superiority. My dear sisters and brothers, on a very serious note, this is not a joke. In the midst of a world where marriage is seriously threatened, in this society, the stability, or what appears to have been stability of our marriage in the past, was based on certain foundations that can't survive today. Do you understand? Was based on male superiority and male chauvinism. And many women grew up, that is how their mothers were wives. That is how their grandmothers were wives. But today, things are different. Today, things have so changed, the man doesn't go to the forest to hunt and gather, and the woman just stay at home. And he comes with all the goodies of his hunting and then dictates everything. You know, somebody said in this church that day that, how can I be a breadwinner? And you tell me the person I win bread for is equal to me. You remember? Yeah. One, there was a misconception and very low valuation of the child-bearing and child-rearing work of the woman. Society survives on children being born and children being raised, right? Yep. And yet, our society doesn't value a full-time housewife that gives birth to 5, 6, 7, 10 children. And that is what society survives on. Society does not survive on petroleum. Does not survive on iron ore. Society survives on human beings with their intelligence. And the woman that stays at home and raises these human beings to be intelligent, to be prudent, to be sensible, to have balanced emotions, we don't value that work. And it is big work. And so the man says, the woman brings nothing to the house. He brings nothing to the house. Can you quantify what she does? Can you really quantify it? We are now seeing the consequence, because the consequence is that the women are saying, okay, I too, I want to work, right? And as he's working, the child is neglected. And society suffers as a result. Do you understand what I'm saying? Society suffers as a result. Because the woman says, I too, I want to control money. I want to work. And then the child is given to nanny. And even the nannies are not respected enough for taking care of the children. For the same reason. For the same reason that the woman was not respected, the nanny, who is the new mother. Yes. The new mother. I mean, you leave home at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. and you return at 9 p.m. And you do that from the time the child is 3 months. Are you sure they are the real mother of this child? Eh? Who is the mother? The nanny. And the nanny is not being serious. For me, every day you come, tell the mother, young mother, I thank you very much for helping me. Without such sense of equality before God, without mutual respect and mutual sharing, a truly Christian marital life is not possible. Now, you, young men and young women, you can decide to live your marriage the way you want, without mutual respect, without mutual whatever. But just be prepared for the consequences. Be prepared for the consequences. And you know what? When marriage breaks, not only the children suffer, the breakers also suffer. I mean, those of you who are experienced, can you be married and forget any day that you used to be married? Eh? Can you be married and forget that you used to be married? So go ahead, claiming rights. When the thing breaks, society suffers. The children suffer, but the breaker also. When God saw that it is not good that man and woman should be alone, he made the gift of woman so that they may find fulfillment in each other. But the promise of fulfillment through the two becoming one flesh has some conditionalities. It requires what? One, faith in and a loving relationship with God. Very important. Very important. If God is the one that created this, you need to be linked with God in some way if you are going to have a successful carry through with this assignment. Many people, as you can see, can't you see it, what is happening in Europe and America? Once for many people, religion was no longer important, relating with God was no longer important, marriage is beginning to become something else, right? Yes. People don't know what to do with their bodies anymore. Once you are no longer linked with God the Creator, you won't know what to do with your body. So if you have serious problem with how to handle your body, ask yourself, what is my relationship with the Creator? Do you get the point? If you have serious problem as to how to handle your body, and you are a man and you are perching on every tree, perching on every tree, then you know that something is wrong with your relationship with your Creator. You need to address it. Because you have ended up with an addiction. Having cut off yourself, alienated yourself from the source of your being, you have ended up with a terrible addiction. So man or woman, not only man perches, women do their own kind of perching. Oh, not really. Don't say that. Two, total giving of self to the other in love, commitment, and dedication. Total giving of self. Not like my people say, oh, it is total giving of self. My people say, I won't tell you this one. My people say, man, no, they show all in yash to woman. Now, it is not like that, because is that total giving? So my people had an idea that was crazy. That is reserve, isn't it? That the man must still reserve something. No, go show the whole. Christian marriage means Christian marriage means total giving of self. Not like my people say. And my people who are hearing me, who are seeing me, are you hearing? Yeah. Next, fidelity to the end. Good. Christian marriage in crisis. Things are going terribly wrong for many marriages today, right? There are many wounded spouses, true or false? Many wounded spouses. There are many unfaithful spouses. Actually, Abuja was notorious. I think it's over now. Abuja used to be notorious for unfaithful spouses. No. Don't tell me it's still on. After HIV. Abuja was notorious. In fact, there was a time they were calling Abuja Sodom and Gomorrah. Because many people come to Abuja and begin another life and leave their family in those days when they came from Lagos and other places and became. Some women came to Abuja and found other husbands. There are many abusive spouses in spite of the law, right? In spite of the law, there are many abusive spouses. There are a number of agencies now engaged in trying to prevent these abuses, but it is still on. A lot of abuses, and a lot of these abuses on account of a man, a real man, will get power. If he beat woman, is he to be congratulated? It's a shame, isn't it? But it is still happening. Part of it is crisis inside. When inside is empty, people want to compensate. You remember the story of Samanja? Which this regiment sergeant major that said there's this recruit that was made to frog jump in the office. He committed an offense and he was made to frog jump in the office. But he get wife. And when he reach home, and the wife say, "Why you tell like this?" Here, Namide in charge. Transferred aggression. So it is emptiness inside that leads to a lot of abuse. Emptiness inside. Crisis inside. Often, it is not the material issue at the time with the wife or with the husband. I'm hearing that a few women are are beginning to do well in husband bashing. But you see, they say the thing is increasing, but we don't hear about it because it is not trendy to go and report that madam, So when you go to work with black eye, you will say that it is some rough boys in the garage that did this to you. There are many marriages where communication has become impossible. There are many marriages that have collapsed completely and ended up in divorce. The traditional family institution as God intended it in Genesis and as Jesus reaffirmed it in the gospel of today is in crisis. That marriage is in crisis. As you know, Pope Francis just went to America and the main issue was a meeting of families to reaffirm the central place of the family and Christian family values. Many marriages are in crisis. Others have broken down irreparably. There is a very high rate of divorce. But the consequences of easy divorce on the partners, on the children, and on society at large are what? Devastating. Modern man has engaged in all kinds of experimentation, such as cohabitation. See many people who live together. Let's try it and see. We live together for 4 or 5 years. If it works, we marry. Many of them never marry. So they just keep hanging on. Because if you don't make that commitment, is it after you have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly that you will now marry? Marriage, people go into marriage by faith. So many people would cohabit. Say, let them learn one another. Cohabit and learn one another. Learn one another. Study one another. Can you ever really know another person fully? Not possible. We are new every morning, as we say about God. We are created in an image of God. So we too, we are new. Homosexualism or homosexuality, lesbianism. We are now in a world where they are asking to be allowed to marry in every country. Trial marriages. Yet, no better alternative have been devised to the traditional marriage institution. No better alternative. The union of man and woman in a lasting bond of fidelity still appears to be the most viable option. For the psycho-social, spiritual, and emotional well-being of the partners and their children, the traditional marriage is still the best possible. And for the well-being of society as a whole, the traditional marriage is still the best possible. I think this couple got the Guinness Book of Records as the oldest couple. They married for 86, right? About 86 years they lived together. Human beings are wounded by sin and selfishness. They bring to their marriage not only their strengths and virtues, but also their weaknesses and vices. When young people come to me to say they want to marry, after asking, what did you see in this person that attracts you? What did you see in this person? Then I ask, what are the bad aspects? They say, no, it's not get bad. I say, you are still flying in the air. Your leg no day for ground. Now here I go there, where you go come tell me some of the. So you go into marriage with the good, the bad, and the ugly, with all the wounds. And this is where we are often very unfair. We are often very unfair because we allow ourselves. We tell ourselves that I'm a human being after all, I can make mistakes, right? But we don't allow others that benefit, that they are human beings and they can make mistakes. Christian marriage compels the couple to do what? 1, to share with one another. 2, 3, 4, because they have got to live together. I mean, okay, not everything my people say were bad. My people also have the saying, when a young man is misbehaving, if a young man is misbehaving and is irresponsible, you give him a wife. What was that to help to do? To make him responsible. Because all of a sudden, from living a life of selfishness and self-centeredness, he now has to return home after work because there is somebody waiting. And it's serious discipline in it, isn't it? He has to return home because there's somebody waiting. Then after a year or so, a child comes. And the child looks like him. And the child is calling him daddy. So this irresponsible person of last year has to return home, if not to see his wife, to see his child. So, Christian marriage compels people to communicate, to forgive one another, to respect one another. Christian marriage provides the best forum for the conquest of selfishness and egotism, and for growth in love, in care, and in forgiveness. This is why marriage should be seen as a school of love. I constantly say that. Marriage is a school of love. Christian marriage provides the best forum, the best opportunity to do what? For the conquest of selfishness and egotism, for the fostering of genuine friendship and companionship, for growth in love, care, and forgiveness. I mean, if you are a Christian and you are living with somebody and the person offends you, if you are a real Christian, you will do something about it. True or false? You have to do something about it. You have to learn forgiveness. Otherwise, you are in trouble yourself. If you don't know how to forgive, the next food cooked by your wife, or what, can you enjoy it? No. This is why marriage has been described as, quote, can you read it? A school of love in which all the students are slow learners. After 48 years, nearly 48 years, Prof and Madam, you are still learning slowly, right? Yes. Again, can we read it together? Marriage is a school of love in which all the students are slow learners. There is nobody who is an expert. Abi Baba Pele, are you not learning slowly? You may be smart in mathematics. Whatever the challenges with marriage today, Jesus has come to show us the way. What God intended from the beginning should remain the norm. The risk inherent in marriage can be reduced by the awareness that Christian marriage is a vocation, if we know that. You know, when a doctor is not well paid, a God-fearing doctor, if he's not well paid, he reminds himself that it is a vocation. I am doing this not for them, I'm doing it for God. So that's a vocation. When a reverend father is not well paid, the reverend father reminds himself that I'm doing God's work. If he's a businessman, he's doing it for profit, often, isn't it? But God forbid that a reverend father should be doing it for profit. Now, it is the same that with couples, if things are not going well, you remind yourself that I am doing this for God. And when you do that, the burden becomes much easier, much lighter. It takes three, therefore, husband, wife, and God to make Christian marriage work. The spouses are responsible to one another and to God. Good. Summary now. Resources for a successful marital life. 1, faith and trust in the Lord. Again, faith and trust in the Lord. 2, adequate preparation for marriage. A lot of marriages fail because the preparation is poor. A lot of marriages are not well prepared for till today. Please, fathers and mothers looking at me, don't prepare for marriage for your children. Guide your children to go and prepare, but don't prepare for them. I have constantly had this problem of fathers and mothers thinking that they can prepare for their children. Hey, Father, my child is in Casablanca. My child is in Philadelphia. What is it to be done so that I don't? They just come, fly home and do the marriage. Are you helping them? And I don't accept it. I don't even accept that the father be the first to come and inform me that the child wants to marry. I don't need you to do that. And don't insist that your child should come and marry where you are, where they are not. Leave them to marry where they are, so that they can prepare adequately there. Somebody is living in Australia. Found somebody there to marry. Why are you insisting that they bring the marriage to your place? You say, Father, but all my friends and all my relations. You can feast your friends and relations if you like. You can declare feast for them, but allow them to prepare adequately and have their wedding where they are. This is what the church requires. So, some people don't even know that we have what they call the law of domicile, the requirement of domicile. You don't do marriage where you don't live. You have not lived for the last 6 months. Yes. Our church law says to do marriage in this chapel, you must have been here for the last 6 months consistently. You don't come from Kano to come and do wedding here. It is an abuse. It is happening in our churches, but it is an abuse. Both civil law and canon law require that you be present. And it needs a bishop to give dispensation against that. Next, prayer. Individual prayer and family prayer. The family that prays together stays together. 3, sacraments. Frequenting the Eucharist and the sacrament of reconciliation. Since we offend one another, we commit sin from time to time, the sacrament of reconciliation is important. Also, ministering God's grace to each other as they live out daily their matrimony. Meaning, as I struggle to live my Christian life, I am ministering God's grace to my wife. My wife is ministering to me. That's how it's supposed to be. Where the husband and wife are ministers of God's grace. As you know, it is the husband and wife that confer the sacrament of matrimony on one another. You understand that? Yes. 4, belonging to support groups. If marriages are going to survive in an age where there is so much that is battering marriages, couples should try to belong to some support groups like what? Marriage Encounter, Couple to Couple League, Couples for Christ. There are all kinds of groups in our church for supporting marital couples. Don't be on your own. I have seen couples who started on a wrong foundation. During their They are illusory. I love you. They promise one another not to tell anybody of their problems. We shall always solve our problem ourselves. Let's not take anything out. Now lie. It won't work. I have seen cases like that where they never told anybody until they divorced. You must, first of all, you must have a confidant in the sponsor, right? The sponsors, the husband and wife that sponsors you should be a confidant that you can easily run to. And if you are having difficulty, you have not solved it 1 week, 2 weeks, and you say, well, because we have promised never to say our problem outside. You not tell your problem outside, your problem will leak outside. Scripture passages for reflection. Unless the Lord builds a house, the laborer labors. Meaning, to build a good marriage is the Lord's work. Unless the Lord does it, you labor in vain. 2, Christ declares matrimony to be indissoluble in today's gospel. Matthew chapter 19. Then, I am the vine, he says, you are the branches. Cut off from me, you can do nothing. Cut off from me, you can do nothing. And then you read 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 1 to 13. Love is patient and kind and not boastful. Love never fails. If your own fails, it means it was not love in the first place. Heavenly Father, we thank you, praise you, glorify your holy name for your many blessings. Thank you for your love and goodness. Thank you for the institution of marriage. Thank you for the gospel of Christ and Christ reaffirming how you intended it to be at the beginning, and it is for our benefit. May your name be praised forever. Lord, purify our marital unions. Sanctify our marriages. Bless our marriages, especially the ones in crisis, the ones experiencing turbulence. Visit them today, Lord. By the merits of the Eucharist we celebrate, turn around the difficult marriages in our midst. Give them a new beginning to the glory of your name. Through Christ our Lord.